What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones Season 8 update video. I still have 2 seasons left of the Game of Thrones series that I am giving away, and I will announce both winners in my next video. If you want a chance to win one of them, just make sure you use the link that's down in the description, and good luck to everyone who is participating. I actually have several new updates today that I want to talk about, so let's just get right into it. I found this first report to be very interesting because it can be a big clue as to what we can expect to see at some point next season. The main headquarters for Game of Thrones filming is at Titanic Studios in Belfast, Northern Ireland. And now that filming has begun, the activity around the city has really started to increase, and recently a fan was near Titanic Studios and they took some photos of a new set being built on the studio lot. Now, I cannot confirm what this building will be used for, but by the looks of the color of this building, it appears to be something we would tend to see in the King's Landing area, or possibly even further south than that. As far as I know, I don't remember ever seeing a building or castle of this color in the north, but it does have a very similar color to the rooftops that we have all seen in King's Landing. It looks like this is going to be a pretty big structure, and if you look closely, you can see a staircase on the side of this building as well. But a report came out that made this new set even more interesting. Apparently, this structure has underwent a controlled fire test, and this might be why they actually built it outside, because they plan on torching this building, just like they did when they built the hut in Season 6 when Daenerys burnt all of the Khals alive. I think this is a very exciting development because this could be a clue that we will see some dragon fire in the King's Landing area. Which does make sense because Daenerys and Jon are going to have to take care of Cersei at some point. And if they can't draw Cersei out of the city, then Daenerys and her dragons will most likely burn the place to the ground. I know we all remember the vision Daenerys had at the House of the Undying when she was walking through the Great Hall where the Iron Throne is kept. The building appeared to have some significant fire damage to its roof, which most likely means dragons were raining down fire upon them. The color of this new building definitely resembles something from King's Landing, and if they're doing controlled fire tests on it, then that can only mean one thing to me: this building will burn to the ground. But before I start speculating too much, I'm just going to wait and see what other information comes out as filming continues. If this building burns outside, I'm sure we're going to see some leaked photos, and if Daenerys is anywhere near the set when this happens, then I think we can all guess what is going to happen next. So just be patient and stay tuned, my friends, because I will absolutely keep us all up to date on any new developments. Now let's move on to the next photo that I have. Like I said earlier in this video, filming has just begun and the actors have been spotted all around Belfast this past week, and some of the photos are now starting to circulate online. I know some of you have been asking me about Gendry and where he might be and whether or not we're going to see him again. Well, hopefully today I can come close to answering that question for you. Someone was able to snap a picture of Gendry, Gilly, and Grey Worm all together walking around Belfast. What I find interesting about this photo is none of these actors have ever filmed scenes together before, so it seems kind of odd that they would all be hanging out together, unless they all have scenes together in the 8th and final season. And honestly, it makes sense because all 3 of these actors should be in Winterfell together at some point next season. Sam and Gilly arrived in Winterfell in the Season 7 finale when Sam and Bran had their little chat together and Bran had the flashback of Rhaegar and Lyanna's wedding. So Gilly is already there in Winterfell, and Grey Worm is heading that way now. Daenerys and her entire army are heading to Winterfell with Jon, and this is where they will most likely set up camp and strategize how they will try and defeat the Night King. So we should see Jon, Daenerys, Grey Worm, and everyone else in their camp in Winterfell very early on during Season 8. And we should see Gendry there soon too. Personally, I figured Gendry may have left the Wall when Jon and everyone else went to the Dragon Pit Parlay with Cersei. The last time we all saw Gendry was when he alerted everyone at the Wall that Jon and company were in trouble. And before Gendry actually volunteered to go on this mission beyond the Wall, he was actually supposed to go to Winterfell instead to forge new weapons. When Davos found Gendry in King's Landing, he actually asked Gendry to join their team. And right before Gendry met Jon in the cave on Dragonstone, Davos told Gendry he was going to be going to Winterfell to forge new weapons. But instead, Gendry ran into the cave and he told Jon exactly who he was, and the rest is history. So as of right now, I'm not exactly sure where Gendry is at this moment because we didn't see him at the Wall when Tormund and Beric had to run for their lives. And we didn't see Gendry in Winterfell either when Arya killed Littlefinger or when Sam and Gilly arrived. But by the looks of this photo, Gendry is hanging out with the cast in Belfast, so I would expect to see him in the north during Season 8. Considering he is hanging out with Gilly, I can only assume they're going to have a scene together, or at least be seen in the same room together. Personally, I expect to see nearly every single character at Winterfell, except for everyone still on Cersei's side, of course. But filming has just begun and more photos will come out, so I'm going to hold off on speculating too much right now. Sir Davos was also spotted in Belfast as well. And I really don't have much to say about this other than I love Sir Davos' character, so shout out to the Onion Knight. I'm really looking forward to seeing him again in the final season. I really hope he can survive all of the bloodshed we are about to witness. Another thing I wanted to mention was, did any of you happen to hear what Kit Harington said after he read the script for the final season? Apparently after Kit finished reading the script for the last 6 episodes, he broke down into tears and started crying. He actually admitted that he cried when he read it, but he didn't necessarily specify what made him cry. It may have been because of what happens to everyone at the end, or it could have just been because he knows it's almost over. Either way, it kinda bummed me out because it is almost over, and if any of my favorite characters die during this season, then there is really no chance of them coming back to life in the show, because it's going to be over for good. I have really enjoyed the whole Game of Thrones experience, and it is going to really suck when it comes to an end. And I can only hope they make a great successor show as soon as possible so we can keep this whole universe alive on television. But anyway, I have one more thing I want to show you, then I will let you get out of here so you can go along with your day. I have a new update about the River Run location, and don't worry, I won't be talking about Edmure Tully this time. I know some of you hate when I even mention that character's name, but hey, I can only talk about what new information is out there, and sometimes there isn't much to go on. But there is a new development about this location. I have to thank my friend Zip, who lives near the set once again, because he went out of his way to take these photos and send them to me. If you remember the last time I talked about this location, it appeared to be abandoned at the moment. The security guards were no longer there watching the property, and it looked like they had removed more of the castle front that was used for the Tully's castle. But Zip had stopped by this location again, and all of a sudden a giant green screen was put up and they had some of the road closed off as well. So it appears this set will be active once again, but it might actually have nothing to do with the River Run Castle itself. This new green screen is actually about a few hundred feet away from the castle and it's facing the opposite direction. So I can't confirm what they're going to actually use this for, but it's very interesting this green screen was just recently put up. And now they have some cones in the road with some signs there too. So I think something is definitely about to be filmed in this area, and it could have something to do with Casterly Rock. They use this location for several different parts of Westeros actually, but they have also used this land to film scenes for Casterly Rock also, which is interesting because there is some potential we could see the Lannisters' homeland once again. After all the wars are over, who's to say Tyrion or Jaime doesn't decide to go and retire in Casterly Rock and live out the rest of their life there? Or if by some miracle Cersei happens to live, maybe she goes to Casterly Rock. Who really knows? But now that this green screen was just recently put here, I won't rule anything out. And according to Zip, which is the person who lives near this set and sent me these photos, he said this location was also used to film the Battle on the Sea with Euron Greyjoy. There is a small studio here too, and there is a car park here also, and that's where they filmed the Battle on the Sea with Euron, Yara, and Theon. Zip actually sent me a photo from Google Maps, and it gives a really good look at the entire area so you can get a good feel for this location. You can see how close the castle at Riverrun is to the actual new green screen. And you can see where the Lannisters had set up their camp before when Jaime and Bronn were here to meet with the Freys and the Blackfish. But just like everything else I reported on today, I don't want to speculate too much because there just isn't enough evidence yet to say what they're going to be filming here. But I can confirm this area was used for Riverrun, Casterly Rock, and they filmed the sea battle here on the lot. So if you want to take a guess at what they're going to be doing here, that's a good place to start. As soon as I find out any more information, I will let you all know right away. So let me know what you think about everything down below. If you have any interesting theories on the photos I've shown throughout this video, please leave it in the comments because I'd love to hear it. I want to thank Zip once again for sending me those photos, and I want to thank all of you for stopping by and checking out the video. I really appreciate your support during this long night into the off-season. I also want to thank everyone who supports this channel on Patreon, because without your help this wouldn't be possible, so thank you all very much. I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.